I knew that the aqueduct is very expensive and it needs a lot of manpower to do it.
Then we will just take a very long time to make it.
How will the citizens from June to January will live? There's rain, but they can't use that rain to drink.
If you don't have enough money, then you don't even have enough money to afford buildings.
In Delfinopolis, the seasons play tricks. Month of heavy rain followed by long stretch of dry, thirsty air. In June, it rains like waterfall, but in December, you can smell your toes. Okay? And our city needs water, but which technology can truly save us? So now we're joined today by an engineer from ancient Rome and a professor from Peru, right? They will show us how their technology works and try to convince us why their water system is the best choice for Delfinopolis.
So, hello fellow citizens of Delfinopolis. I am an ancient Roman engineer and I have come here to show you a very efficient method us Romans use. It is known as the Roman aqueducts. So how does it work? Romans will dig shafts underground, and when we reach the needed height, we start the construction. Other Romans who is still on the surface would start moving materials like concrete. We only use like concrete, and then they use it to make sure that when we pump water, the water won't go through a bunch of dirt. So we will dig like everywhere and we'll dig to homes. It kind of works like the pipes you use today, but it's more ancient. Tunnels are like quite steep, so the water can be pumped up and it won't just keep like going down. And this is special because it isn't really like complicated. The only complicated parts is like the building parts. Like we have to memorize where we're gonna dig or like how are we gonna bring it down. So we already figured out a way how. We are like one of the smartest regions back in the ancient times. And why is it so effective? Because it can't be affected by pollution because it's all underground. Like you can't get to it, and it won't like stop because it will just keep going. Like the more water you push in, the more water that comes out. And why do we think this is, and why is this method better than the fog catching method? Because first of all, the fog catching method requires areas that actually have mist. Like the place you live, Delfinopolis, is a big city, I think, and it probably has a lot of buildings. So if like a mist comes into Delfinopolis, it will probably be blocked off by the buildings and it wouldn't even reach the nets. Also, and for the aqueducts, the only problem is we have to dig a hole, which won't affect this place much because you can just take like, oh look, this park is not gonna be used, let's just dig it up. And that's why we think the Roman aqueducts are the best method. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is I'm from Peru and I'm an expert in fog catching technology that in many dry places that use. Fog catcher is very simple, but it's very effective way to provide water to dry places. We use this technology in Peru, Chile, and Morocco. It's very simple. It only takes 5 steps to do it. First, we need a mesh net and we set up it between 2 posts. Second, the fog goes through the nets and the micro droplet will collide with the fibers. and it will stick to the surface. When the micro droplets merge, it provides large drops that we can drink, and it will run down a mesh. The water will flow into the storage tanks without need for pumps or electric. Fog exists everywhere, even in the hot country or the cold country. So we can use this technology all around the world. And so in some places, the rainfall almost don't exist. So it will be a huge problem for the people to find water. So fog catcher is a very effective way. Second, it's very cheap. You can make it for three or four materials without any electricity or complex parts. So the people in the village can do it by themselves. Finally, it was environmentally friendly. We can use it everywhere and don't harm the environment. And that's just my say. I can think that fog catcher is the best for us to use in Delfinopolis.
Do you know the phenomenon acid rain, which is like the smoke from factories getting the clouds?
Yeah.
And this Delfinopolis pretty much probably has a factory, so even if the mist does get into the city, it's probably polluted, right?
I think Delfinopolis will use a much safer way. I come here and live for one and study here for 2 years, and I knew that factories in here is very clean and safe for the sky and the environment. So I think that's not a very big problem.
Then how would the mist actually get into the city? Like there's buildings everywhere.
We can just make the mist go up high in the highest place in this city. So.
But if you move it higher, then it will condense with the water, the vaporized water from the sea, and will become rain. And it will only appear all the way in July, right?
June.
In June, you will use your machine or the aqueduct, and in January I will use mine. That's a deal?
No!
Can I ask you? If our city is not very rich, and I knew that the aqueduct is very expensive, how you will do it? And it needs a lot of manpower to do it.
Then we will just take a very long time to make it.
But if there's a very long time, so how will the citizens from June to January will live? There's rain, but they can't use that rain to drink.
If you don't have enough money, then you don't even have enough money to afford buildings.
But the fog catcher is very cheap, so even if we have money for building, we can still use the fog catchers for our citizens to drink water. But the aqueduct is too expensive and needs a lot of money. What do you think? Each technology will have their good side and their bad side. So I think we can find another way for us to take water, but I think that the fog catcher is cheap and is environment friendly and don't harm anything. So I think that's better.
Two hours later.
In conclusion, I think that we can use the sea.
You mean seawater desalination? But that costs even more money than both of ours combined times 2.
We don't care.
So in conclusion, my aqueduct is very effective because you're probably using it now. All cities use pipelines, and that is basically aqueducts, but with more technology. So I think the aqueducts are the best way to get clean water.
Actually, as an expert, as a professor based in Peru, I think that the forecasture technology is the best to make water for dolphin.
So thank you, citizens of Delfinopolis, and now and goodbye everyone. I have to build another aqueduct for my people.
Goodbye everyone. Goodbye fellas. Goodbye citizens in Delfinopolis. I have to come back to my country to keep learning about the forecasture.
Okay, thank you so much, engineer and expert.